The radical Democrat Congress just passed one of the largest tax hikes in American history, pulverizing the middle class. And now you have the privilege of having 87,000 IRS agents, because Manchin folded like a dog. You saw that. And I always said he would. I told you he would. He did. Created the worst inflation in 50 years, 9.1%, and it's going to go a lot higher. And now they are making it worse with their immoral plan to wipe out hundreds of billions of dollars of debt.
What's up, you guys? It's Steve here, and oh man, things are heating up. Wait till you see the video footage and the headlines I've got for you today. Things are just spiraling out of control with stimulus, former President Donald Trump, everything that's going on, our economy. This is your breaking news stimulus check update and stimulus package update. Now, I've been letting you know things were going to ramp up, but wait till you see and hear this speech, you guys, of things heating up. Take a look at these headlines coming out. Now, this just coming out over the weekend. Bitter battle between Trump and Biden redefines the midterms. This is the midterm election. This is not a presidential election, but it's the battle for control over Congress. And we've even heard Senator Joe Manchin say everything that's taking place right now, it's all focused on winning the midterms. Right now, Democrats have full control of Congress. They have control of the House of Representatives, the Senate, and the presidency. And historically, when a president's approval is this low, we see a massive wave coming from the other party where they take control. However, we're hearing that Republicans are not capitalizing on this opportunity, and that Democrats, they might actually pull this off. And we actually heard this from Mitch McConnell. Now, take a look, you guys. Biden, right now, he's promoting more stimulus. We're hearing executive orders are on the way. And Biden again attacks MAGA GOP members of Congress, full of anger, violence, and hate in a Labor Day speech, going after them. But Dark Brandon strikes again. Joe Biden hits hecklers with scathing one-liners. And you guys, is it wise for Biden to call out the MAGA extremists? Let me know your thoughts. But what we're hearing is he's pulling Trump back into this, and Trump is biting back. Now, you're going to see this speech. Let me know your thoughts. He says that if you took the 5 worst presidents of our history, put them together, they still would not have done as much damage as President Joe Biden has done right now. He also says the evacuation out of Afghanistan was one of the most embarrassing moments of our country. He says Joe Manchin has totally messed up our economy with the Inflation Reduction Act that he folded. Somebody got to him. He's saying that inflation, it's going to be increasing with this. This is going to be a tax on Americans. He's saying that Mitch McConnell is a weak leader for the Republicans, that they're missing out on a huge opportunity. He's going to be covering wiping out student loan debt and how this is unfair and that it's not even helping the people who need help the most. Now, man, let me know your thoughts, you guys. But former President Donald Trump, he's showing up. He's responding back, hitting hard. And like I said, this is not even a presidential election. This is the midterms, you guys, and things are heating up. Now, we will see, because I let you know in my last video, if you missed it, check it out. President Joe Biden, he is saying right now that he's talking about the American Rescue Plan and how they're getting the economy back on track. We're hearing about potential more stimulus, and he is polarizing in his speeches. His strategy right now is to separate the MAGA Republicans and the Democrats. And we're hearing that if he puts more stimulus on the table, it's going to increase that approval rating. And if he can get the majority of people, Democrats could win it. But right now, man, Trump is biting back. Let me know your thoughts, you guys. Now, we're going to dive right in. Take a look at this. This is a speech that actually came out this weekend from President Donald Trump in Pennsylvania as well, which is the same place where Joe Biden did a speech. So he's hitting right back. So we're going to take a look at it. Let me know your thoughts. Things are heating up, and we're going to be seeing what unfolds as things ramp up as we get closer to midterm elections. Now, also wanted to mention, I sent out 500 people exclusive access to the relief roadmap, the comprehensive list of every stimulus check in the nation on every level, states, cities, counties. I'm going to be reviewing the feedback on that today. Thank you guys so much for all of you that have participated in that, prepping everything before I open it up to everybody. I'm going to send another wave out to a couple thousand people today so that way they can gain access. Just want to make sure that all the buttons work, all the resources work. Some people have been giving me some very good feedback about ways to make it just more streamlined and simple and easy and clear. I'm going to make all those, and then pretty soon this week, you will all have access at www.reliefroadmap.com. So that way you can get a hold of this list. You can have the confidence and reassurance that you're not missing out on anything, that nobody is in the dark, that opportunities come for stimulus checks that are only available for a limited amount of time and people are missing out. That won't happen to you or anybody here on my viewing community. You will have access to everything. And I'm going to keep this up to date regularly. So as new articles, new information, new town hall meetings come out on stimulus check programs, they're going to be added to this. So you will constantly have access to this as states, cities, counties, they're still rolling out new programs all the time. And I will keep you up to date on that, you guys. But with that being said, let's take a look at this speech. Let me know your thoughts. Now, before we dive in though, do me a quick favor, smash the like button if you appreciate the updates, the content, keeping you up to speed on everything going on. If you want to stay up to date, it's totally free. Why not? Hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell. I cite all the sources, put them on the screen, read right from them, link them, so that way you know it's the latest. You can see it for yourself. If you got any specific questions, shoot them to me in the DM on Instagram at SteveRam3. And I got a second channel with more content coming for you, Steve Ram Finance. Help you out with growing wealth, personal finance, and now that the Relief Roadmap website and all of that is up and running, more content coming to help you out there as well. But with that being said, you guys, let's dive into the video footage. Let me know your thoughts on what you're about to hear from former President Donald Trump.
The many disasters that our country and the world are now suffering would never, ever have happened if I was in the White House. You all know that. All of this stuff would never happen. You could take the 5 worst presidents in American history and put them together, and they would not have done the damage Joe Biden has done to our country in less than 2 years. They could not have done it. 2 years ago, when I was in office, gas was $1.87 a gallon. And we weren't talking about going to all electric cars, which are twice as expensive. I mean, the problem is, a friend of mine wanted to do something for the environment. He went out and bought an electric car. And he made a certain trip, I won't say from where, Kentucky. I won't say from where. And he's a good person. He wants to do what's well. Now he understands not so good. And he bought an electric car, and he made the trip often from Kentucky to Washington, and he made it, and he'd drive down and put the car away and drive back. He was getting like 38 miles a gallon, and it was fine. And then he goes to hybrids and all the other things they can do. But he wanted to go all electric because he wants to save our country, wants to save the atmosphere. And he called me, he said, I'm exhausted. Why? He said, this damn trip took me forever. I'd drive for 2 hours and then I'd have to have my car charged. And in 2 cases, I couldn't find a place to charge it, but even if I could, it took me more time to charge the damn car than I could spend in it driving. He said, it took me 2.5 times. Please, please, let's get rid of this stuff. Please. And you see in California, you see what's happening there, where they're going all electric cars. Number one, people can't afford them. Number two, the batteries are made all in China. All the earth, the rare earth comes out of China. And interesting, we have all the gas and the gasoline, when it's refined, we have it all right under our, we don't have any of the other stuff. And if we did, our environmentalists wouldn't let us take it. It all comes out of China and a little bit in the Congo, which has, guess who controls the Congo? China. We play right into their hands. You see where I'm getting a lot of great press? Because I told Germany, don't make a deal with Russia on the pipeline. And they said, oh, that's so funny. I actually sent, during a meeting, G7, I sent Angela Merkel, a white flag of surrender. She said, Donald, but why do you send me this white flag? I said, Angela, because you're going to surrender. 75% of your energy is coming from Russia. If you look back over the decades, Russia and Germany haven't done too well together. When there's a war, when there's a problem, they'll just turn off Nord Stream 2. And Angela, you're not going to be able to defend yourselves. Oh, that will never happen. Well, that was about 2 years ago. The only thing, I never thought it was going to happen this fast. And now they're giving me great. Remember, I made the speech at the United Nations, and the German delegation was all smiling. They thought it was so funny. They're not smiling now. He said it better than me. They're not smiling now. But now gas is $5 and $6 and $7, and it's going to be going up. Think of it. And they bragged because it came down slightly. You know, it came down about 42 cents. We actually had it down at one point to $1.42. Remember that? But I had to get it a little up. We had to let the oil companies make a couple of bucks. I didn't want to wipe out the oil companies. But what's happened is one of the big reasons for inflation is what this guy has done with energy, because energy is so all-encompassing. It's so big. With the help of Pennsylvania energy workers, did you get screwed or what? Remember I told you they were going to do this to you? He lied during the debate. He said, no, I would never do that. The first thing he did practically was end the Keystone Pipeline, right? That was like the first thing he did. And you know, all those workers voted for me, but the head of the union voted for, I wonder, is he still the head? Check it out. He ought to be fired real fast. The Keystone Pipeline would have been great. A lot of jobs, and would have done a good job. With the help of Pennsylvania energy workers, under my leadership, we had American energy independence for the first time ever. And within a short period of time, we would have been energy dominant. We would have been bigger than Russia and Saudi Arabia combined times 2. And now we're beggars. We're like a beggar nation. We gave you, think of that, we're energy beggars. We would have been bigger than everybody combined. The biggest energy suppliers combined times 2. We were going to be energy dominant, and now we're beggars. We gave you the largest tax cuts and regulation cuts in American history. The radical Democrat Congress just passed one of the largest tax hikes in American history, pulverizing the middle class. And now you have the privilege of having 87,000 IRS agents go after you. And they've actually been approved. I'd never heard of this one. They got approved to carry guns so they can go after you with guns. You know, they don't want to have guns, but it's okay for the IRS. It's like an army. Can you imagine that was approved, that they allowed that to get through? And all Mitch McConnell had to do is waive the debt ceiling. I'm not approving anything having to do with debt ceiling unless you drop all this crap, $4 trillion worth, because Manchin folded like a dog. You saw that. And I always said he would. I told you he would. He did. And West Virginia, which voted for me, 45 points. I was up 45 points. West Virginia is not happy with Joe Manchin because he killed coal and they put taxes on coal. Clean, beautiful coal. He killed it. I can't imagine he's going to do well. I don't know what the hell got to him. Under the Trump administration, we had the greatest economy in the history of the world with no inflation. Biden and the Democrat Congress created the worst inflation in 50 years, 9.1%, and it's going to go a lot higher. And now they are making it worse with their immoral plan to wipe out hundreds of billions of dollars of debt for college graduates. Now think of this. How unfair is it? How unfair is it to all of those people, many of you are here, that paid and worked so hard? I saw they were doing a story about Pocahontas. That's Elizabeth Warren from Massachusetts. And this big, strong guy came up to her, really a good-looking guy. And he looks at her and goes, well, what's going on with this debt? You want to cancel the debt? I've been working my ass off for 12 years, he said. And I've almost got my daughter's debt paid off. I worked weekends, 12 years. My neighbor, he's my friend, but he hasn't worked at all. And now the debt's going to be canceled, but I worked. This is unfair. And then he was not too nice after that, so we'll forget what he said. But he was not too happy. But you can multiply that times millions and millions of people. They paid for it on the backs of hardworking citizens, and they're raising your taxes. Remember this, you don't realize it. You're getting the biggest tax increase in history. It's all disinformation. They're saying under 400,000. You're getting the biggest tax increase in the history of our country. So enjoy paying it. And you know what it's paying for? Things like that, but the Green New Deal, which is like taking the money and throwing it out the window. And it's actually worse. It's actually like taking the money and destroying our country, because it sets us back. Just like Germany. You know, Germany's back to building and opening its plants because they got so screwed up with their green new energy. They got carried away. Windmills all over the place, killing all the birds, destroying all the values of homes, destroying the plains and fields, beautiful plains. If you want to see a dead bird cemetery, go under a windmill sometime. It's not a pretty sight. It's also the single most expensive form of energy you can get. And all of those big giant turbines are built in China and Germany to a lesser extent. I rebuilt our military, including our nuclear capability, and hope to God we never have to use it. And the creation of Space Force. Do you see what they're doing with Iran? Iran was dying to make a deal with me. I would have had a deal done within 1 week after the election. And now we're going to pay them hundreds of billions of dollars, and they're going to have nuclear weapons within a short period of time. These people are crazy. I mean, they honestly, they can't be stupid. They must hate our country. They must hate our country. They surrendered our strength and our wisdom, our everything. They turned Afghanistan into the greatest humiliation our country has ever seen. I believe it was the most humiliating time that our country's ever gone through. 13 dead soldiers, but they never mentioned those soldiers who lost their legs and arms and face. They were obliterated. Nobody talks about them, and there were many. Nobody talks about them. We left American citizens behind, and we left $85 billion worth of the best military equipment in the entire world, planes and tanks and goggles. 700,000 rifles and AK-47s. We left it all behind. Think of this, 70,000 vehicles. There's not a used car lot in the country that has probably 500 vehicles. 70,000 vehicles we left behind. Some of those vehicles cost millions of dollars because they're armor plated with 6 inches of steel. We left it all behind. I built much of it because I rebuilt our entire military. We left, think of it, $85 billion worth of military equipment. And you know, I saw a number the other day. The second largest arms dealer in the entire world is Afghanistan. Because they're selling, because they don't need 700,000 rifles and guns. 700,000. They need 40,000 or 20,000. What were we thinking? You don't take the military out first. And remember this in Afghanistan. 18 months, we didn't lose one soldier. You heard the numbers on Philadelphia? 18 months. I spoke to Abdul. I said, Abdul, don't do it, Abdul, don't do it. Don't do it. But why, sir? Why do you send me a picture of my house? I said, Abdul, that's a different story. Don't do it. And we were fine. Remember, they said, why is he speaking to the Taliban? Because that's where the problem was, right? That's where the problem was. 18 months. And Biden actually said it a couple of months ago. Well, I'll say one thing. We didn't lose one soldier in 18 months. And they're screaming at him, you don't take it back. You're not supposed to say that because it's good. We didn't lose a soldier in 18 months. They were so afraid. They didn't want anything. We could have gotten out. I wanted to get out more than anybody. I'm the one that got it down to 2,000. But also, we should have kept Bagram because of China. Bagram Air Base cost billions and billions of dollars years ago to build. It's 1 hour away from where China makes its nuclear weapons. We should have never left without keeping Bagram. What a shame. The most humiliating time. I believe, actually, that probably Putin went in because when he saw the incompetence of that, he said, this is going to be easier than I thought. And now we have a war between Russia and Ukraine with potentially hundreds of thousands and even millions of people are going to die. That would have never happened if I was your president. It would have never happened. I promise you. I talked to him. Vladimir, you can't do that. Can't do it, Vladimir. Those beautiful golden turrets in Moscow, Vladimir, I want to leave them alone, please. You can't do it, Vladimir. He would never have done it. He would never have done it. He said, well, I sort of believe you because you actually did kill me on Nord Stream 2. Nobody thought that was possible. I ended North. Can you imagine? Biden came in and he opened up the pipeline. I ended it. Then he say, oh, Trump was soft on Russia. I was soft. The only one that doesn't think that is Putin. He didn't think I was too soft with the sanctions, but think of it. The biggest deal they've ever done is Nord Stream 2 that nobody ever heard of until I came along. They were building this massive pipeline. Nobody ever heard of Nord Stream 2 until I came along. We created the safest border in United States history. We ended catch and release. We deported record numbers of illegal aliens, gang members, and we built hundreds and hundreds of miles of border wall despite 2.5 years of Democrat-inspired lawsuits. We had 11 lawsuits. I won every one of them. Took 2.5 years to win. And you know, we completely finished our original plan for the wall. And they came to me, sir, we have some other sections. I said, let's do it. Come on, let's go fast. Then we added much more wall, 200 miles, and we almost got that finished on top of what we did. And I figured that this guy would finish it up, and he didn't. Not only didn't he finish, when Texas wanted to use the stuff that was sitting there ready to be erected, it was going to be erected very quickly, very effectively. Great wall. It's exactly what Border Patrol wanted. I said, what do you want? This is exactly. They want steel. They wanted concrete. They wanted rebar, heavy set rebar. They wanted exactly, and they have to be able to see through so we see what's happening on the other side. I wanted to just give them nice, big, beautiful concrete plank, but they didn't want that. So we gave them exactly what they wanted, and they could have been finished in a few weeks. And not only didn't they give this free to Texas, where Texas could have put it up, they actually took it away and put it in a secure area where nobody can take it. That's just a terrible thing.
Man, there you have it, you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Do you agree with former President Donald Trump? Do you wish that he was back in office? Or do you feel like, no, that these are false accusations, that Joe Biden's doing a good job, and that the Democrats need to press forward? And we will see what unfolds with stimulus. Without a doubt, this is a component, a major component that's going to be involved in these midterm elections. We will see, as they already made executive actions for wiping out student loan debt, and we will see what else is to come. Now, regardless of whether there is or there is not stimulus checks, child tax credits, whatever unfolds, you guys, I will keep you up to date every step of the way so that way you know what's going on. And with that being said, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. If you made it this far and you haven't already, don't forget to take a quick second, smash that like button, helps out with the YouTube algorithm. Leave your comments, share this out. If you want to stay up to date, it's free. Why not? Hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell. Any specific questions for me, shoot them to me in the DM on Instagram at SteveRam3. Check out the second channel, more content coming to help you out with growing wealth and personal finance. And if you haven't already, check out www.reliefroadmap.com. Add your email. This week, everyone will get access to the comprehensive list of all stimulus checks on all levels. I have well over 100 different programs, so you don't miss out on anything. But with that being said, you guys, once again, thank you so much for joining me, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.